Welcome to Recovering Addict. My name is Jake, and I'm a recovering substance user. You know, my resume in but damn, stand by. This is a terrible water bottle. There you go. Long, slow drink. Refresh. Excuse me. So my resume that qualifies me to sit here, recovering addict, sore, and talk to you involves addiction, trauma, domestic violence, growing up in an addicted home, long-term incarceration in prison, and on the more positive side of that, counseling, lots of counseling, lots of recovery, lots of reading, a lot of reading. And tonight, we were going to continue our journey into the connected child. It's been a couple of weeks since we got into this book. Now, the Connected Child is a book written by Dr. Karen Purvis and David Cross. Now, they, over 20 years of research and study, they have developed a system called TBRI, Trust-Based Relational Intervention. Now, it is a system of parenting specifically designed to help children from hard places. Now, that could be one of six, and I always seem to forget the sixth one. So we have stressful pregnancy, early hospitalization. That's the one that I always forget. Trauma, abuse, neglect, and something else that I can't ever seem to remember. It's the one that I always miss. So, and what it tends to do is it changes the brains of our children so that they have, a wide range from, attachment disorders, sensory processing disorders, behavioral issues. And so it is a tried and true method of parenting to, strengthen a bond, teach our children the necessary attachment skills. And it has a 98, it has like upper 90s% success rate for completely altering a child's developmental trajectory. So before we get into that, I'm going to greet the chat. I have my computer is up. Cherie was first today because Brad was slacking and didn't jump into the chat at like 5 a.m. She also says, hope y'all had a great day with the number 8. That's weird. Hashtag share squad. Right on. Thank you, Cherie. Sky. Hola, ¿cómo estás hoy? Bien, ¿y tú? Muchas gracias. And there's third. That Brad guy, third. Good evening, Marilyn. Always a pleasure to see you. Again, you're still a purple M&M in my head. She's got the eyelashes though. But Jeanette, how are you? We got Petey. Hello, Petey. Felice. And Petey's got a share squad too. Hello, Brittany. And I believe I just covered the topic there, Brittany. Bree, that's a new name. Are you new here, Bree? Let me know in the comments. Allie. Hello, Allie. Rachel. Hello, Rachel. Are you? No, I think you've been here before. Then shout out to my boys Juan and Fernando. Excellent. and my babies Gotti and Lucky. Morty, we have adventures, Morty. Brian, how's it going, Brian? Proud of my monk. Yeah. What's the beyond supernatural equivalent to a monk? Like, I don't know what time period this game is played in. I don't have any information about beyond the supernatural. Like, I'm very excited for our character creation session. Whatever day of the week that happens. Oh, welcome back, Rachel. And once before, yeah, I thought your picture looked familiar. Okay, so without further ado, let's get into it. And then I like to give this disclaimer. The disclaimer for this being, like, this book is written primarily for foster children, adopted children, international adoptions, but then also our children, the children of addicts. They tend to become, they tend to develop the criteria for Dr. Purvis's Children from Hard Places, and we must not let our egos interfere with, as a suggestion, please don't let your ego interfere with, adopting this system. If it's something that you think that will help your child, please chase it down, get after it. Like, it's worth it. Your children are worth it. So, we are on page 89 for those who have the book. I believe Jeanette has the book. Correct me if I'm wrong. Oh, we have a Brandy new here. What's your clean date? DOC. How'd you find us? Let us know in the comments. Okay. I will figure out. I don't know who the Facebook user is. Pure Style, my man. Awesome. I don't know who that is though. So I will figure out how to add the link into the description, like moving forward, so that you can so that you guys can buy the book if you want to follow along. Crack and met. Oh, my turn. Digging life again. Shane. Yes, you have this one, Brad. Crack and meth was my DOC, and I just celebrated 3.5 years on May 9th. Awesome. That's fantastic. Hell yeah. Okay. So, chapter 6, page 89. You are the boss. Okay. So, stop, whimpers Raina. That hurts. Jason, sitting on the floor, heaves another wooden block squarely at his cousin. Well, that's a good one too. The connected parent really it condenses down some of the concepts in this. It was actually the follow-up. So that's also a good one, and I highly recommend that to everyone that okay, I'm going to try to focus. Square heaves another wooden block squarely at his cousin. It bangs the little girl on the jaw before it falls to the ground. Ow, please don't hit me, she whines. Mom, overhearing this from the kitchen, dashes into the den. What is going on here? She demands of the two children. He keeps hitting me with these, she says. Mom kneels down. Okay, now as I go through this, I'm going to point out like what stood out to me while while I was going through this. I read ahead, I took some notes, I highlighted some things. I wanted to be better prepared so that, I can, anyway, produce better content so that, we have more of an engagement here. So, so mom kneels down. So she is eye level with her son. Like that's important because, when you're standing above your child, come down to their level, it makes you less intimidating. It's not you're above, now you're here, and it makes them feel safer. And speaks forcefully. It is not okay to hit with blocks, she says. Let me see your eyes. Now, let me see your eyes. That is a script to initiate eye contact. Okay. The little boy averts his gaze, but mom is persistent. She kneels and moves her face into his line of vision and repeats, let me see your eyes. So moving down into his line of vision, he's turned away. Mom just moves into his vision, doesn't grab his face, doesn't touch his head, doesn't turn him into her. She moves into him, again, enhancing the safety for, what was the little boy's name? Do we even have his name? We don't have his name yet. The little boy, enhancing his safety. The boy keeps fidgeting and moving away, but mom doesn't give up. Again, there's that persistence. She touches lightly under his chin with two gentle fingers, just a little, and repeats the instruction. Let me see your eyes. Again, that's that script, until the boy looks at her. She says again, forcefully, it is not okay to hit people with blocks. People are not for hurting. There's another script. We have another script. We had, let me see your eyes, to induce eye contact. People are not for hurting. It says a lot because we don't want to lecture our children. It conveys a lot of information in very few words, because children from hard places have a tendency to have a lower language processing ability, especially when they're dysregulated. She waits a moment for his response, and hearing none, prompts him with, yes, ma'am. So he's not responding, so she gives him a prompt. Yes, ma'am, to answer in the affirmative, to acknowledge that she is there and that she is speaking. When the boy says nothing, mom repeats, I said, yes, ma'am. Being firm and, not overly demanding, a gentle but firm voice. Yes, ma'am, says Jason quietly. If you hit her with blocks again, I will take the blocks away and you cannot play with them. Do you understand? Yes, ma'am. Okay, let me see you play kindly. There's another script. We have another script here. So we've had, let me see your eyes. People are not for hurting. And let me see you play kindly. Okay, excellent. The boy starts stacking the blocks, no longer throwing them at his cousin. Good playing kindly, Jason. There are lots of toys here for you to play with. And there was another one, good playing kindly. So she gave him the script, let me see you play kindly. And when he began to play kindly, she offered him praise to reaffirm the good behavior. Good playing kindly. About 10 minutes later, mom checks in the den again just to make sure things are going smoothly. When she sees they are, she repeats the praise again, saying, good playing kindly. And again, running that script to reaffirm the good behavior yet again, to get another rep in. Children can surprise us with their ability to take control in almost any situation. They will test limits and baffle caregivers. Despite the challenges, you must remain in charge and respond immediately to inappropriate behavior. Jason's mom did an excellent job of reacting to Jason's abusive treatment of his cousin. Okay. Now I'm going to over enunciate the key words here. She immediately dashed to the scene. As soon as she heard the disturbance, she left the kitchen, went into the room where the children were having the dispute. She verified the circumstances. Instead of jumping to conclusions, she asked the children what was going on so that nobody was immediately blamed or what have you. Off showing the children respect by asking them what happened instead of coming to her own conclusions. She clearly and firmly established expectations using simple language. It is not okay to hit with blocks. People are not for hurting. She expressed herself very clearly. She expressed herself very clearly there. Now, she ensured that lines of communication were open. She did that by asking for eye contact, using that script, let me see your eyes. She established consequences. If you hit her with blocks again, I will take the blocks away and you cannot play with them. Now, notice that the consequence fit the transgression. He was throwing blocks, being a wild man, smacked his cousin in the mouth, and instead of delivering a punitive, go to your room, or, a whooping, none of those things, the consequence fit the transgression. If you do this again, I will take away the blocks. She had the child signal his understanding, asking for that feedback. Do you understand? Yes, ma'am. She guided the child back to positive activities without holding a grudge. Where was that? Okay. Let me see you play kindly. So even though Jason, we determined his name, even though Jason hit his cousin in the mouth with blocks, she didn't send him to his room. She didn't give him a whooping. She told him, you do this again, I'll take your blocks away. Now, let me see you play kindly. So instead of removing the child entirely from the situation, she allowed him to continue playing after she corrected his behavior. After she addressed the issue, she let it go and guided him back to positive activities, thereby hopefully ending the violent situation. And then she praised his good behavior. Okay, let me see you play kindly. There are lots of toys here for you to play with. She was fully prepared to enforce the consequences should the misbehavior continue. So if he did hit his cousin with the blocks again, she was going to take the blocks, and that was it. That was the consequence. For safety and a host of other reasons, you need to make rules, set and enforce limits, and make decisions about family life. Now, this is very important. A child's world is more predictable and less stressful when parents provide consistent structure and authority. So very true. Very, very true. Like when we lived in our old house, like I had a structure, I had a routine. Every night Drake knew, like, okay, tonight it's Tuesday night, take a shower, feed your gecko, we're going to do jammies, we're going to watch an episode of whatever anime we were watching at the time. brush teeth, go to bed. Oh, so you can have a snack, and we're going to brush teeth, and we're going to go to bed. And that was our routine. Since we've had to move, there's been a little bit of a regression in behavior because, oh goodness, there we go. Okay. Eat a cheeseburger every time I yawn. See how long you last. So now I'm not in a position to really. Well, I guess I'm building a structure again. I'm building a routine. I'm building structure. I'm trying to figure out like the best way to go about our week to week. And then it's all going to change again when we move into our apartment on the 11th. So, and with that, I'm going to take a short break from reading. I'm going to take a drink, and I'm going to address the chat again. Okay. Ooh. Oh, go ahead and share this to your. Yes, I think. Yes. I need some feedback on that. I don't have an issue with it, but. And then oh wow, there was a lot going on while I was reading. We got Jeanette's got both of the books per my recommendation. Very good, thank you. And that really means a lot, Jeanette. That you got those books. They're very beneficial. Everyone does deserve respect. Absolutely. Then, Sam's here. Hey, Samantha. Samantha. Oh, Love and Logic. I'm not familiar with that one. I haven't done that. I did a step parenting class 2 years ago, and then this year is when I did the TBRI and implemented that into our day to day. Somebody's celebrating. There's 2 cheeseburgers. Somebody's celebrating on Zoom. Excellent. And yes, is this in reference to everyone deserves respect? Because if so, absolutely, I agree. There's Shane switching platforms. I think. Weren't you just here on Facebook? Oh, now I'm just sharing a conversation. Waiting. What up, Epi? How goes it? With that being said, people not for hurt, short to the point. Jake, what would one do when they steal from a store and on a visit, due to them being in DCHS custody, you have to deal with it, but they don't want and refuse to talk about it? It's a little bit of a tough one there. Come on, Brad. Jump backstage, sucker. You could have just done it. I did see that comment. I don't know. That's sort of a tricky one. I would say I need more details on that situation. So if you want to private, like message me on Discord or something, like we can discuss it there. Because I don't want to have you put in too much of your business, maybe fucking things up on the YouTube. Taking a parenting course, want to be a better version of myself because I love myself and my children, and we all deserve to try to do our best. I just don't want to see my children go down a path like me. And that's perfect. That's great. You know, that's the road. And like I said, this TBRI system, it boasts like an upper 90% success rate. So, you know, to change that developmental trajectory by teaching bonding and attachment and trust, and that, you know, not all people are bad, because a lot of these children were hurt, like horribly hurt. Like if you go back and watch some of the other live streams that, you know, or get the book and read through it, you know, you'll have a better understanding. And then Epi, everybody's switching platforms. I always try to stick to one. Y'all being cray. And I did check my text messages, Brad. So come on, jump backstage. You have the login, so I don't have to send you an invite or anything. Ooh, Merk's here. I'm glad to see you finally made it, Merk. Yeah, come on with it. Wait till after the stream, though, please. Okay. Take another little drink. Alicia. Lish is here. Ow. And then Brandy, my kids were in a situation I never should have been in, but today I am not that person. Thank God for the steps and finding God. Yes, thank God for God. Absolutely. Excellent. Okay, and now we have a Bradley in the backstage that's going to run the comments for me. If you see anything that's relevant, just throw it up here so that I can address it. And I'm going to get back to the book here. Okay. Ooh. I need to get a pillow. None of my chairs were tall enough, so I had to get a bar stool, and that was a terrible mistake. Oh, hardwood. Sitting on hardwood. Oh. Fire Brad. I'd fire Brad if Merk was up for the position. So, we've gone over an example of TBRI in action. And now we'll go through the header for this section is the old way doesn't work. So spare the rod disciplinary techniques, you know, that would be like reward and consequence, you know, like all of these old timey, like, hey, if you behave, like this will happen. Like, you know, you want to go to the video game store or blah, blah, blah. Then I need you to do this, or go to your room because you dropped a plate, or whatever analogy you want to use there. Like, you know, they are not useful with special needs children, and in fact, compound the problems. These children are operating under developmental delays, impairments, deep shame, and lingering trauma. Harsh punishments and sermons are not effective for gaining their compliance. You know, because they don't process a punitive sentence. It doesn't matter. Like, you know, before I learned about this system, I was, you know, go to your room, give me your electronics, and it never worked. It never worked. Like, at best, I got like a couple of days, maybe a week of good behavior, And that was long enough so that they could get their shit back. At-risk children respond far better to a constructive approach to discipline, one that guides them to think more consciously about choices and consequences without being shamed. And that is behavior modification. As we saw before, Jason was throwing blocks, smashed his cousin in the face. Mom said, hurt somebody else, I'm taking the blocks. Okay. But did not stop the child from playing. So we'll be focusing more on behavior modification. Your kid sleeps in all the time, blah, blah, blah. Gently guide, like, hey, we got to start getting up earlier. Brandy says, me and my children take a timeout break to calm down. Then we come back in a calming manner and discuss why it was wrong and what we can do next time. And that's good. That's good. That's excellent. I like that. Since it's, and I like that because it is a group agreement. You and I hope I'm not misunderstanding. I hope I'm not just making shit up. But I would assume, based on the way that you said that it's a family situation. Like, things get upset. Everybody's agreed, hey, things are getting a little rowdy. It's time for us to, step away, take a break, calm down a little bit. And then, so we're going to table this and then return to it. Is that what I'm understanding? Just let me know. So, old school styles of disciplining don't work with these children. Forget about using anger and harsh punishments, lectures, sermons, and tirades. That's awesome. That's awesome. Bribery, threats, whining and complaining, debates or arguments, yelling and screaming or shaming. So, none of these tactics achieve lasting positive results. Research shows that children with authoritarian, harsh, and overly controlling parents, in fact, display worse behavior than children with nurturing parents. So that's children, mom or dad, what I say is the law, you will do what I say. Well, they're people. These are little people. And as people, we tend to challenge that authority. If it's chaotic, if it's unstable, we don't always, we just become resistant to authority. And that's why children with harsh authoritarian parents tend to act out, because it tends, it seems to be at times that these same parents are also dismissive. So it's children that are starved, that are relationally bankrupt, because, maybe relationally bankrupt, emotionally deprived. They start to act out to get mom's attention or dad's attention, because that seems to be the only way that they can get that attention. And so they act worse, where in this system and in healthy family dynamics, a child trusts their parent, has a connection and a bond, and is able to communicate with their parents. And goddamn Brad checking the comment name just totally derailed my train. So I'm going to cycle back to the reading. Okay, punishment might temporarily make a child comply, but it doesn't build healthy habits or encode productive life skills. I like this. You can't make a soldier without teaching them how to kill. And sometimes you get what you create. So true. And there is a lot to that. There's an enormous, there's a lot to that. Hey, baby. Come say hi to the internet. Shut up, Kronos. I don't know. I can start it after. Hey, baby. Say hi. I think Cherie's here.
Hi.
Here, it's down here on this camera.
Hi.
Hi, Cherie.
Hi.
Say Cherie.
Hi.
There you go. Personal greetings.
Hey.
Okay. I'm thirsty. Oh, damn it. I'm lost again. Okay. So, lecturing also gives the wrong message that parents are always good and the child is always bad. Brad says hi, Drake. Hi, Brad. Hi, Brad. Petey also says, what's up?
The sky.
So yeah, because like if you've ever been lectured by your parents, you know, there's always I'm right, you're wrong. You know, Matilda, in that movie Matilda, when Danny DeVito is telling Matilda that he's right, she's wrong, I'm big, you're little, I'm smart, you're dumb, like that's an example of that. Who's outside with a motorcycle? My phone just froze, but it's still broadcasting pretty seamlessly. That's interesting. So lecturing feeds a child's inner core of hopelessness, and many adopted and foster children arrive with a large core of shame installed. They have the silent belief that if I had value, people would have loved me and wouldn't have hurt me or abandoned me. Like this painful conviction can keep a youngster entrenched in maladaptive behavior. Like that's rough. That is rough. You know, and even the popular disciplinary strategy of timeouts and sending a child to his or her room is counterproductive. Isolation encourages a child to go off into his own world and disassociate, exacerbating the type of emotional disconnection found in attachment disorders. Now, I did look up an article. To describe dissociation. My phone is freaking out.
Hello,
there we go. That's better. Yeah, whenever my phone decides that it's sunset, it changes my entire theme on my phone and like restarts all kinds of shit. So it's weird. Okay. So I'm going to jump into this article. It is mind.org.uk. It explains what dissociation and dissociative disorders are, including possible causes and how you can access treatment and support. It includes tips for helping yourself and guidance for friends and family. So I won't read the whole article, just enough to really just sort of explain what dissociation is. His T-shirt, Epi, says James Madison Patriots. It was the elementary school that he went to before we moved to Layton. So, what are you chewing on? Okay, will you go eat your fruit snacks upstairs? Because you're gnawing in my ear, baby. Like, I love you, but it's like, okay. My oldest has reactive attachment disorder. It is a challenging disorder. Reactive attachment disorder. That's interesting. Do-do-do. In the DSM-5, reactive attachment disorder is a condition in which an infant or young child does not form a secure, healthy emotional bond with his or her primary caretakers, parental figures. Children with RAD often have trouble managing their emotions. They struggle to form meaningful connections with other people. Interesting. Please. Okay. Hey, Brad, will you find the link to the connected child and put it in the comments, sir? That was an interesting noise. Don't know what that was about. So yeah, I think this book would help you with the reactive attachment disorder for sure. You know, or not. So what is a this bedtime up there? So you came down here. Okay. Here, will you chill a little bit, please? Thank you. Okay. So if you dissociate, you may feel disconnected from yourself and the world around you. For example, you may feel detached from your body or feel as though the world around you is unreal. Remember, everyone's experience of dissociation is different. Dissociation is one way. Ow! This chair sucks. Well, I needed the taller chair. Dissociation is one way the mind copes with too much stress, such as during a traumatic event. So it's that disconnect, like that mental disconnect. Experience of dissociation can last for a relatively short time, hours or days, or for much longer, weeks or months. If you dissociate for a long time, especially when you were young, you may develop a dissociative disorder. Instead of dissociation being something you experience for a short time, it becomes a far more common experience and is often the main way you deal with stressful experiences. Now, let's see. That's a For many, dissociation is a natural response to trauma that they can't control. It could be a response to a one-off traumatic event or ongoing trauma and abuse. Some people choose to dissociate as a way of calming down or focusing on a task. Thank you very much, Brad. Or as a part of a religious or cultural ritual. You might experience dissociation as a symptom of a mental health problem. Or you may experience dissociation as a side effect of alcohol or some medication. Okay, talking about dissociative disorders. So the people that like zone out. I got the cushion. I got the cushion. You know how some people zone out and like seem really distant, even when you're like they're talking to you, like that's a dissociative state. Let me think of a good example. Daydreaming. So daydreaming is dissociation. So there are levels of dissociation which are good. Daydreaming creates creativity. It does a lot of things for a person. So having difficulty, how might I experience dissociation? Having difficulty remembering personal information. You might have gaps in your life where you can't remember anything that happened. Might not be able to remember information about yourself or about things that happened in your life. A doctor or psychiatrist might call these experiences dissociative amnesia. traveling to a different location or taking on a new identity. You might travel to a different location and take on a new identity for a short time without remembering your identity. That's okay. Interesting. Difficulty defining what kind of person you are. Okay, well, there's that. So I will. So let's get back into here. So that's dissociation. That's so it's far more effective to draw a child closer to you when addressing bad behavior. One example of this would be assigning shared chores. So if that is one way of putting dissociation. So shared chores. So if the task is clearing the table and they don't want to comply with that, a corrective strategy could be, okay, well, if I help you clear the table, come and help me do the dishes since you want to be resistant, or, like things like that. Or there's another one called time ins. So if they really become dysregulated and they're really rowdy, instead of a time out where you send them to your room, thereby increasing the distance between you and the child, you do a time in where you continue what you were doing. So if you were cooking dinner, or if you were doing the dishes, or if you were vacuuming the living room, you would have the child come and sit in the same room with you, thereby signaling that I need more details on that question. How does one change that about oneself? Like, I said a lot of stuff, so I'm not sure exactly what you're referencing there. So you signal to the child that they are important enough to you, that you want them near you, and are willing to, have the patience and the tolerance for, whatever outburst they're doing, so that they don't feel disconnected from you, so that they know you're willing to work through it. Like, Drake's had a few time-ins. We had, I think we had 3 hours one day where he was just going for it. He was just going for it. You were going for it. You didn't want nothing to do with anything for like 3 hours. And so I had you sit in the kitchen while I did the Sunday cleaning. What? Yeah. Well, it was quite some time. And I had you sit in the room with me so that you weren't alone and isolated, thereby increasing the difficulty of being able to self-soothe, right? They used to say I was dissociated because I used to be able to tell everything happening in a classroom except what the teacher was teaching. Interesting. And then this one, I would say, educate yourself on disassociation, like what the symptoms and the signs are, so that you can, decipher if it's an excuse or if it's like legit, so another traditional discipline that should be avoided is hammering the child with questions such as, what were you thinking? Or why did you do that? An aggressive cross-examination makes the child feel defensive. as if he is caught in artillery fire, and he will build a bunker. He isn't equipped cognitively or emotionally to answer your questions and will shut down or come out swinging. Yeah, because sometimes like children do shit and they legitimately don't know why they did it. Like they don't know why they did it. You know, so instead of focusing on the why this happened, gentle guidance, redirection, positive affirmations, using scripts, it allows them practice to, move into a better direction. You'll waste your time by engaging in debate too. Even with a child who has the language skills to debate you, it's a poor strategy. Debate gives the youngster too much say over the outcome. By allowing a child to draw you into an argument, you're granting him equal status. And that's inappropriate. Your input must have greater weight. You must be the authority. But this is the key: a respectful, caring authority. Not, you do this now because I fucking said to. It's, hey, I really need you to do this. Whether, like, however you want to word it, like, I really need you to do this right now. We're a family. We're a team. We all work to take care of each other and, keep the household running. And then shaming a child and simply hoping he behaves properly the next time are also unrealistic methods. These children are emotionally challenged and can lose control of themselves at the drop of a hat. Many suffer from neurological impairments and lack social skills. You have to find something or someone whom they try to find acceptance from or are learning things from they like. That's what always worked for me. That's cool. Absolutely. And that's part of that, like, actually taking the time to find those things is showing your children that you care about their interests. You're not trying to mold them into who you want them to be. Like there is some behavior modification, teaching them acceptable methods of behavior, acceptable patterns of behavior, but to accept them for who they are. Like if you like, these are random examples that have popped into my head. If you like the Notorious B.I.G. and your kid likes Garth Brooks, like support that. Don't try to turn them over to, I can't even think of an analogy, but I think you understand where I'm trying to go with that. So I like that. I like that, Epi. I may have gone way off now that I'm reading the comment again. Oh, goodness. Many suffer from neurological impairments and lack social skills. Without your guidance, they just won't have the tools they need to do better the next time. Unable to get it right, a child will feel worse about himself each time he fails and is berated, and that downward spiral becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. You have a good night, Petey. Yeah. And then right here, Epi said, you can't be the one that presents danger or anger. Absolutely. Like, there is a lot of power in unconditional positive regard. Like, instead of approaching your child with anger, making them feel threatened, you accept them for who they are. You accept the situation exactly the way that it played out. And let them know that your feelings for them, your love for them is not lessened by their behavior, although there are some corrections to be made. So that's the end of that section. I need to stand up for just a moment. Let's see if we'll even be able to. Okay, I think we might have time to get through this next section after I. Whew, that sucks. Ow. Oh, that's terrible. I'm going to stand up for a minute. Ooh, that was. Oh, God. Stretch a little bit. Okay. So. So the next header, a new way of thinking about discipline. Rather than relying on traditional disciplinary techniques, you need a better approach that combines firmness, kindness, and retraining. Start by gearing your response to your child's level of defiance. A mildly sassy child can be handled with a playful reminder, but an aggressive child must encounter complete conviction from the adult, with your body language, voice, and words all conveying to your child that his or her behavior is unacceptable. The more defiance you encounter from your child, the firmer your response, but you never need to be punitive. Now let's go over that again. So a mildly sassy child can be handled with a playful reminder. Okay, so playful engagement, they start to, just a little bit. Like I do that a lot, like make random syllables, and that's a playful engagement to, so, and then if their behavior escalates and it gets to a point where I have to be a little bit more firm, our natural tendency is to raise our voice and speak louder. Like, I just said the same thing twice with different words. To raise our voice and speak quickly. Now that raises alarms. That throws up their forward shields. They arm the photon torpedoes and they get ready for battle. Now that's our natural, tends to be our natural response to misbehavior. Now, if we lower our voice, keep it nice and calm, and speak, not slowly, but slower, like, okay, I really need you to stop doing, no, don't throw toys, or like, hey, it's time for bed. It's time to brush teeth and it's time to go to bed. There is a huge difference. The child is, their alarm systems are, deactivated. They're able to, and they have that sense of safety that allows them to continue in the interaction in a more positive way. Or if they're doing danger, I need you to get off the fucking ladder, like it's rickety, whatever. So, and I think that is where we will stop. I'm going to try to get a guest for next week. I have a few people whose arms I am currently in the process of twisting to try to get them onto the show. There's a few people's stories that I really want to hear. Mark, I'm coming for you, Mark. You promised to be on my stream. See if I can make that happen next week. If we can coordinate that, that'd be fantastic. If not, if I can't find a guest, get a guest scheduled for next Thursday, then we will continue our journey in the Connected Child. And so I believe it's time for the Serenity Prayer. And Brad already opened the Zoom. You silly son of a bitch. What? No, get up. Come here, baby. Okay. We're going to say the Serenity Prayer, I think. No, I'm not going to do it. I was going to type it all out, but screw that. So, okay. Who are we not? God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Amen. That was good.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was good. Oh yeah. So, until next time, do not put yourself in high-risk situations. Stay strong, work your program, and remember, we recover better together.